When we were on the Speakeasy with Kelly and with Pat, Pat the Burner. Pat the Burner, as you know, is Peter Douche liaison. Well, and so I was talking about graphene and how I have a big boner for graphene. And graphene, for those who don't know, is a single molecule thick, so it's a two-dimensional substance. That's a single molecule of carbon, or maybe it's atom. Anyway, I think it's molecule. Anyway,
I think it's a molecule
that is fused together. Yeah, that's fused together with an energy source, and so it creates this octagonal map of a superconductive substance that is something as thick as saran wrap would take the weight of an elephant to poke through like a sharpened pencil. So it's just incredibly strong. It's not just durable, but it's also not brittle. Like it you can actually bend it. And well, anyway,
Wow.
They found a much easier way to mass produce this. So this is something that has been very difficult for people to figure out how to make it. Well, apparently, as I read, if you have your carbon in an enclosed chamber and you release acetylene gas, which acetylene is used for welding.
Okay.
You release acetylene with oxygen. It doesn't even take a fire; it just takes a spark to set it off, because acetylene is incredibly unstable.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to set it off, and it's hot enough to fuse it together. And so this is something that actually allows for a cheap way to be able to mass produce. Why this is interesting is because with renewable energy, it's hard to transmit the energy from the point of collection to the end user, but then also graphene can be made to be used as a membrane to desalinate water. And right now, desalinating water is incredibly expensive, incredibly hard. And so you can use this to desalinate water with rising sea levels here in Utah. You might think, well, Josh, you live in a fucking desert. Well, one, we're the second driest state in the nation. Two, in the last 10 years, we had an influx of 400,000 people. We're a state of about 3 million people. 400,000 is a lot of people.
Wow.
Three,
yeah,
a lot of people that come over. Yeah, a lot of people that come over from California. And so California's going to need this with rising sea levels. Florida's going to need this. There's going to be a lot of places that are going to need this. Our groundwater is full of salt.
And what they say is what the trend seems to be that I read in different things, that once the dispute over oil is over and done with, it's going to be water that everyone goes to war over. Clean, potable water.
Yep.
And if this thing can take off, shit, you might be able to avoid all disaster.
Yep. And so if you can actually have potable water by having this membrane, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
And then like this, not only is it a superconductor that can be used to, remap our electrical grid. I mentioned how strong it is. I mean, this is something that you could probably use to line the International Space Station to prevent it from micrometeorite disaster.
Dude.
And so, like, it could literally change the entire way in which we interact with our world. And if it's made from pure carbon, what else is pure carbon? That is a language of which that we demand to be spoken about. Coal. We demand that we talk about coal jobs, whether we think that it's a foregone conclusion that coal is a thing of the past or not. We demand that we talk about it. And what I would love to see people do is to say, look, I'm here to create coal jobs, and I'm here to help coal because oil and gas has really fucked them over the last 100 years.
Right.
Have that get people to say, well, what do you mean oil and gas? So this is fossil fuel, right? Well, if you look at a map when oil and gas was being produced in the early 1900s, it's actually what was the major decline in coal jobs.
Yeah.
And then this, if you actually mine for coal and use that coal, that pure carbon for the graphene, you can create coal jobs. You can make oil and gas obsolete.
Holy shit.
And then you can also put these workers, the oil and gas workers, in an actual viable job, while hopefully bankrupting the fucking oil and gas tycoons that get us in all these unnecessary wars in the first place for their absurd amount of money.
Fuck, you just blew my mind. That is the actual clean coal revolution you just described. That could بring back all the fucking jobs in West Virginia if they focused on that instead of burning shit. Dude. Holy crap.
And imagine if somebody just said, hey, I want to create coal jobs, but let's not turn it from a solid to a gas. Let's keep it in solid form and just reshape it.
Single-handedly
reshape the face of coal.
Fixing the water problem.
Coal graphene.
Dude.
Yeah, right. And then also you could say, but you know what? I also don't want the like. Do you remember the guy's name who was in Kentucky? A piece of shit racist guy that was going against Mitch McConnell, talking about how Mitch McConnell's for the Chinaman.
Oh
and
God,
he was a coal mine tycoon. So he went to prison. He went to prison because people died in his coal mine.
Jesus.
When he got out of prison, he ran for fucking Senate. That's how gross our system is.
Wow.
He ran for Senate, for U.S. Senate, after he got out of prison. And so what I would like to see is coal mine cooperatives. You know, there's nobody who knows what sort of safety conditions that a coal mine needs, and the people who are down there digging for the shit. Not some asshole who's just trying to make millions upon millions of dollars and doesn't give a fuck if you die. So, you know, let's make coal mining cooperative businesses. Let's have a cooperative front with Graphene. Let's stifle the water wars, and then let's just reshape the face of our infrastructure.
Yeah, man.
The Eisenhower infrastructure bill created $100 per $1 that was spent into it. I suspect Graphene would probably be something similar.
That definitely, dude. Right on point, man. You got the whole thing worked out. And, well, you know, in theory, I have to say, if it was pitched just right, then you could draw the kind of attention necessary to get eco-scientists to come up with ways for coal miners to go into their respective mines and not end up getting all of the health problems that they normally incur from doing the mining work. And with coal miners being in the collective rather than being just employees, they probably would have a way bigger say in how they might be able to go about refining the methods that we use to get this out of the ground. And maybe even replacing it with something else so that we're not leaving giant gaping holes ready to collapse on themselves. But
Exactly.
there's other issues that we'd have to work out, of course, mountaintop removal, all that other nonsense that's going on right now in West Virginia. But yeah, man,
Right.
that is a shining star on the horizon that I think people should be running towards.
And I bet Richard Ojeda would be very interested in hearing this.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, Josh, that's a hell of an update. I may have to post that by itself.
Yeah.